Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, Square Wave 2. A couple videos ago I demonstrated how to wind a coil with taps, the loop type of tap, which can be kind of tricky. Well, I got very good response on that video, and so I thought I'd make another video showing you how I wind a coil with many turns, up to 100 turns and even more than 100 turns. Now, who wants to wind a 100 turn coil manually? It's way too risky, time-consuming, and too tedious. So what I did was build a little coil winding jig. I didn't have any plans, I just put it together on the fly. I used a few scrap pieces of lumber I had around the shop, and I bought what is called a threaded shaft from Home Depot. It's like a long bolt without a head, and it can be cut to any length you desire. This little coil winding jig can wind 100 turns in just a couple minutes. It's fast, reliable, fun to build, and fun to use. Here's how it works. My coil winding jig is made up from a few scrap pieces of wood, a couple pieces of 1/2-inch plywood, and a couple pieces of 2x2. Now the two verticals have been drilled with a 1/4-inch drill to accept a 1/4-inch threaded shaft or threaded rod I got from Home Depot. You need your threaded rod, and you also will need 4 nuts that fit it. Now the diameter of the rod is not that critical. Mine happens to be a 1/4-inch, so my holes are also a 1/4-inch. And I've enlarged them just a little bit with a rat tail file so the shaft will turn freely. On one end of the shaft I have secured a little crank handle. I drilled my 1/4-inch hole in a piece of scrap wood and then clamped it between 2 nuts so it will turn the shaft. Now the coil form is securely clamped between 2 pieces of masonite or plywood I call pressure plates. On the outside of each pressure plate is a nut. Now when you turn the nuts in opposite directions, you can clamp the form in securely. Now it's going to take a little trial and error to get the coil centered exactly over your threaded shaft. But once that is done, you're ready to wind. It's fast and easy. Setup of the jig is a little bit tedious and a little bit time consuming, so I'm going to show it to you in fast motion just to save time. A good way to fasten your wire to your coil form before you start winding is to take an X-Acto blade or a razor blade and cut a little slit in one end of the coil form. Then you take your magnet wire and press it into the slit. The excess wire will be used for hookup later and can be folded up and put inside of the form. Now you're ready to mount your form to your jig and wind your coil. Now when you get to the last turn, secure the turn with a piece of electrical tape and then put a couple spots of glue. And when the glue dries completely, remove the tape and your coil is finished. Here's the final setup, ready to wind a coil. You're going to have to improvise some kind of a spindle to hold your spool of magnet wire. Just make sure the spool of magnet wire will turn freely as it unwinds. That's very important. I'm going to pinch the magnet wire between my thumb and forefinger to maintain a constant tension on the line as I wind. And count my turns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. Now it's time to secure the last turn with a little electrical tape. And then a couple spots of glue to secure it tightly. Now when the glue dries, remove the tape and your coil is done. Well, that's the story on building your own coil winding jig out of a few scrap pieces of lumber and a threaded rod you can get at Home Depot. Now anybody interested in making their own crystal radios is going to be doing a lot of coil winding. There's no way around it, and Radio Shack will be of no help. So I hope I've given you a few good ideas and suggestions to make the job easier and more fun. That's everything for now. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.